Now that I have modeled and added material to my model, before I begin, you will notice that I have made a few changes just to make things look slightly better in my perspective when I start rendering. So I'll just zoom in all my views by right clicking on this zoom extent icon. It will zoom in so that the entire image or the entire project is within the boundaries of the viewport. If I right click, this will affect all the viewports. If I only left click with my mouse, this will take effect in only the active viewport. So now that I have right click, you can see that it has automatically zoomed in all my views to show you the project as it is right now. Now, if I zoom into the perspective, you can see that I have opened a little door, a little opening actually, it's not a door, right here that leads me to the dressing room. I should have opened another door right here that leads me to the bathroom or whatever this space is. I still need to add some windows in these spaces, but I just focused on this one so you can see the difference whenever we're rendering. You will also notice that I have redrawn my doors, or I have rotated my door panel to make it an open door, simply to allow more light into the space and to give the indication of a door. I have also properly rendered the frames, as you can see right here. I've properly rendered the frames, as we mentioned before. The way we modeled the frame at the beginning was just an example, and it was not realistic. On the other hand, I have now, if you look at my plan, you will see that I have just a plain rectangle as a door frame. I disregarded all the details. You can add details if you want. That will make, of course, the scene look a bit more realistic. But I just went, because of I needed to save time, I went for the easy or the more abstract representation of a door frame. I also added the window frames, and I opened another window on the left-hand side. When it comes to the structure of my file, you can see that I added sub-layers. So I have under Windows, I right-clicked on the layer, and I added new sub-layer. So that is a sub-layer called window frame. So I have the window panel itself under the window layer, and the window frame as a sub-layer on my in my Windows layer. How does this help? Whenever I want to add material, so once I added my my aluminum material, all I had to do is so this is the matte aluminum, which is the frame of the windows. I just right-clicked and clicked on Assign to Layers, and I simply chose the sub-layer that has the aluminum. The whole thing, the windows and the window frame, belong to the window as an object, and therefore I divided it into sub-layers. Of course, if you have handles or if you're adding more detail to the windows, feel free to add as many sub-layers as you find appropriate. However, always keep track, or always make sure that your layers are properly organized and in a way that makes sense. So you can see under the doors layer, if I click on cancel here and I go back to my layers, you can see that under the doors layers, the doors layer, I have two sub-layers. So I have the layer of the door that includes the panel. I could have also added the panel on a separate layer, but it just made no point for having a doors layer to start with. But that's up to you. Below that, or as a sub-layer to that layer, I added a door frame, which is the frame, and I also added a step. So this step can be seen on the opening right on the other side. Let me just zoom in and rotate. So you can see if I zoom in right here, you can see that I added a step here. And this was added to the sub-layer called door steps. And I divided my sub-layers based on the material. I hope this helps. In the next tutorial, we will start adding the settings, or start setting or defining the settings for our render and defining our views. So keep watching.